Good morning. I guess it is. It might afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. But here at 9 o'clock in the morning, here in Angeles City, Philippines, it is morning, and it is the day after. In fact, we can take a look if you want, and that's what it looks like outside. Every now and then, the sun is peeking through, the wind is blowing. Um, we didn't get, you can see the street below. There's no flooding, there's nothing. None of it happened like that here where we are. And I'm going to just have to qualify that very, very well and say here it wasn't bad in our location. The wind blew, we had a little bit of rain, it never flooded. In fact, the streets are still the same way that they were. Usually after a big rain and everything, the streets kind of like wash themselves. You know how the trash is here in the Philippines, but no, we didn't get squat. However, there was a lot of damage in other places. There was a lot of damage to other people. Um, you know, we're not going to discount that at all. To take a generalized look right now, okay? That's the eye. It's sitting offshore. It's cleared Luzon. Um, there's still a lot of issues. There's still a lot of problems. Infrastructure here in the Philippines is just simply not set up for this type of situation. And, um, even though we're in a fairly robust area, when you look at the Philippines in general, surrounding us, it is not that way. Um, if you take a look, you can see directly across the street from us, places that have very, very minor structural uh, integrity. That they're just not meant for it. They're tin roofs that are tacked down. They are all kinds of things. So, you know what? Let's talk for a second about electricity. We lost electricity about, I want to say it was about 1:30 this morning for about 10 minutes. The electric went out, the generators kicked in, and about 10 minutes later we had city electric all over again, and we continue to have it. Now, there are reports of power outages all over the city. All right. There are reports of power outages all throughout Luzon. Um, you know, it just, they don't maintain things here. You have trees that go down, they take down power routes, the infrastructure, the grid itself can be very tenuous at times. Um, we don't hear any reports of flooding in the Angeles City area. I'm sure there was some somewhere, I'm sure, but it just hasn't been that bad at all. Um, Not for us. Again, I stress the not for us part. The balcony is going to need to be scrubbed down and washed and swept and cleaned up. Um, the streets, well, the streets are what they are. Nobody's going to clean that shit. Nobody is. I mean, let's just be honest. Very few people are going to do anything out there for that. All during the night, the trikes ran, the jeepneys ran, traffic ran, cars were going. I mean, there goes a jeepney right there. Um, Everything continued. It continued just like life will continue. It goes on, and it doesn't stop. You can't stop your life. People have to go out and make a living. People have to clean up. People have to repair. People have to get together. I mean, even now, Arlene is still trying to get in touch with her older sister. Now, her older sister and her husband and child, they lived north of us where it was a little bit more difficult. Um, we have a subscriber whose partner, Elizabeth, Pagugan or something like that. Um, we hope she's doing well. We hope everybody's doing well. There are lots and lots of people out there that weren't affected, and lots of people that probably were affected. Um, right now there's no shortage of live streams from all over, people reporting on this, talking about their experiences. And you know what? Thankfully, thank God, we don't have much of an experience to actually report. The wind blew. We've had worse storms, that's for sure. The rain came. We've had far harder rain. Um, that's for sure. Power went out for a whopping 10 minutes. We've had worse power outages in the past. All the buildings are still standing in our area. Everything else is still standing. It's hard to complain. Ricky Last. Good morning, Ricky. How you doing? Thank you for joining. Bipolar Pun. Great reporting, but I prefer my weather woman. Yeah, I prefer your weather woman too, Bipolar. I really do. Hang in there, Bipolar. You know what? There's not much to hang into. I mean, honestly, there's not. It is, if you live in the area that we live in and you have major complaints about this, then you've never seen weather before. That's all I can say. This was nothing for us. And I stress that us part, okay? The us, that's important. Because for others, many others, it really, truly could have been something. Good morning, McLovin. How are you? How's things going? Thanks for joining. Oh, the ugly tourist graced us with his presence. Well, thank you so much, James. How was it out in your area? Did you actually experience anything other than moderate wind and light rain? I'd like to know. I'd like to compare how different places here, even in the city, are doing. We've heard that there are still power outages in Mabalacat. We've heard there are still certain pockets in Clark that are out. We've heard that there are pockets all throughout town, and none of that surprises me. None of it does. David Kelly, good morning, guys. Glad you're well. Philippines bounces back quick. In California, if there's flooding, businesses will be shut down for months pending safety inspections. Yeah, here, I can tell you right now, the Sorry store across the street is open. It was open last night at 10 o'clock, and it's open now. I can tell you the trikes are going up and down the street. I can tell you that people are walking up the street and going shopping. We can see them coming back down the street with grocery bags and groceries and things like that. So JJ's is probably still up and running just fine. Um, I see that Chubbs is doing a live stream from Phillies. So they're still cooking eggs. They're still making hash browns and French toast. And, life goes on. It really does. For some people, there'll be some tragic results. There's no doubt. But for us, it was reasonable. James the Ugly Tourist says you got light wind and rain. Light rain. Yeah, same thing here. We had light wind. I don't think it ever blew more than about 25 or 30. Um, you can see our plants on the balcony below. Um, they didn't really move much more than that. So they're there. The table is still there. Everything's still there. You know, we had a couple little technical issues. We lost power in the middle of the live, about 1:30, 2 o'clock, something like that. Uh, the power went out. It flipped. It went out for like 10 minutes and then came back on. We were without power for about 30 seconds. Generators kicked in. Nothing much you could really do. But we did see certain areas like behind, you see Tower 1, Tower 2, Chatsworth, Grosvenor, and Tower 3. Back behind all of that is Angelica. They lost power and were dark for a while. I don't know what the issue was with that, to be honest with you, because I know they have backup generators. Um, but down the street from us, they lost power. It's kind of funny. We had power, same side of the street, same city block, but 100 feet down, they lost power for, I want to say, for about an hour, for the best we could tell. So, Sunset Travel. Good morning, Sunset. How are you doing? You didn't miss much. All right. Everything will be nice, clean, and back to normal by the time you get back. Thanks for joining. Bruce Sender. Good morning, Bruce. Yeah, we survived just fine. We survived. For us. And again, I can only stress for us. For us, it was a minor inconvenience. And that's it. All right. Um, it is. It was a little bit of rain, um, a little bit of wind. It wasn't anything structurally threatening. It wasn't anything that we had to worry significantly about. Um, we just plugged on through. I don't know any other way to say it. We watched TV. We had internet. We had TV. We had all of our subscribers that were awake, um, and everything. It just simply wasn't much for us, but just a few miles away, it was. It did get to be something a couple of miles away. So, Double B, good morning, Double B. How are you? Good to see you. Hope things are doing well. Sunset tells the ugly tourist, check out the Honda Rebel. Well, I don't know. I guess James has been looking at scooters, motorcycles. Uh, Good for him. Hope he picks the right one, if he picks one at all. Slick Rick, how are you holding out? I'm doing good, Slick. We're no problems at all. How'd your 49ers do? I have not even looked at the news from, other than some major headlines from the U.S. this morning. We were up late with the storm, watching it, and went to bed and slept like a baby. And that's just it. Angeles City Vloggers Association. The ugly tourist has really stepped up his game. We might have to reconsider his application. Um, yeah. Well, you know what? James and Ding are fine people, and we wish them the very best. He certainly has put a lot of effort into it, but, you know, time will tell. and I think he's going to do just fine. I really and truly do. James Gilbert from Laguna, Cabaya, Laguna. It wasn't bad. Yeah, it wasn't bad here, James. I suspect you got probably something very similar to us. You may have gotten a little bit more rain than we got. We didn't get really that much rain. The rain was never significant enough to even puddle up the street. It kept the street wet. It was bad. I mean, the street was wet, but we didn't have the giant puddles or flooding or anything like that. So, it wasn't bad. And the wind wasn't bad. It gusted here and there, blew normally, but whatever. McLovin, too bad Grab shut down. Yeah, well, and I think Grab probably shut down in um, in consideration of the safety of their drivers, because you never know what's going to happen in 10 or 15 minutes or half an hour, and you don't want people pushing it. It's just not worth it. It really isn't. Um, I think Grab is open this morning, though. But we'll have to keep a lookout and see. McLevin, FYI, Senate reaches a deal to extend the government funding. Yeah, I saw part of that. I also saw, I don't want to get too much into politics at this time, but I will say this: politicians are politicians. And I saw one of the headlines this morning that Trump is saying because of his tariffs, there's going to be a $2,000 dividend for most Americans. And that's what he wants to do. But what he's really doing is he's putting pressure on the Supreme Court, which is trying to make a decision as to whether he actually has the authority to use the Emergency Act to be solely in charge of implementing tariffs. And so he's buying his way. He's like, yeah, you know what, guys, if you don't let me continue this, these people, the entire population is going to be mad because they're not going to get their $2,000. So we'll see what happens. I want to see whether this entire funding is going to work out. We'll see. I think the next day or two might have a lot to say. It's 9 p.m. on the East Coast, so we'll know more tomorrow. Brent, the Pittsburgh expat, bring the journey. I just got in from the U.S. At 6:30 a.m. I'm ready for the real noise. So, Brent, where did you get into? Did you get into Clark? Did you get into Naia, Manila? Did you get into Cebu? Where did you fly into? What was it like? Was there any talk of the typhoon on your flight? And how are things where you're at? Let's hear from that. So it'd be interesting to know. Slick Rick, we lost big time. We had more fun at the tailgate. Yeah, that happened. You know what? You gotta love tailgates. We used to tailgate Arizona Cardinal games, and we knew we were going to lose. We absolutely knew the Cardinals were going to lose. Now this was 20 years ago, but the tailgates were fun, and we had a great time. So you can't. It's hard to deal with that. The ugly tourist said it wasn't me. Ah, you know what, James? You should be having that baby most any time now. I mean, I think you're probably on that cusp. Ding is probably at that point in time where anything can transpire at any moment. So I want everybody to keep the ugly tourist, James and Ding and Mini Me and even Foxy Oxy, all right, to keep them in their thoughts. And wish her a gentle and rewarding experience for the delivery. And congratulations to James, obviously, as well. That wasn't me, OPJ. Okay. David Kelly, San Francisco 26, Rams 42. Whoa. High scoring game, too. Wow. Hold on a minute, folks. So I have a professional chef. You know, it's kind of funny. You watch these YouTube channels, and they're professional this, and they're professional that. And they, you know, their claims are, hang on, here you go, honey. Thank you. Their claims, they claim all of these past professions that make them a pro at what they're doing. Well, now I'm going to tell you, I have a professional chef. My wife, Arlene, has just made me eggs over easy, perfect, just as good as Tequila Reef, all right? And corned beef hash and one slice of toast. Hey, Arlene, I need that insulin back. I hadn't taken that yet. So she's moving a little faster than I am this morning. So she made me breakfast this morning, and so it is. It is. You know what? Life goes on. No different here at the at the at the homestead. Um, so I'm having to laugh at Arlene. I'm sorry. She's doing something funny. Uh, let me just take this insulin real quick. So, but yeah. So James, ugly tourist. I'm glad that Ding didn't go into labor in the middle of the storm last night. That was very, very nice of her to not put you through that. That's for sure. James says, yeah, rain steady all day, but not hard. Yeah, same thing. We had intermittent rain all day, but very light. Very, very light. And you're getting quite brave there, aren't you, Arlen? You're not. Arlen's walking around behind me and everything else, and all I'm going to say is she would definitely not want to be on camera dressed the way she is right now. So usually she stays the hell out of here when we're doing a live stream. There you go. Have a nice day. Yeah, well, we were right in the middle. Philip and I were right in the middle of having a conversation last night in the live stream when the power went out. So, Philip, when we dropped out, did you lose power also for a couple of minutes? We had a power outage, and I'm eating here, folks, so you're going to have to deal with it. We had a power outage, and in that 15, 20 seconds that it takes to flip from power, city power to generator, it knocks, my router goes out, my computer goes off, everything goes off for about 10 or 15 seconds. And at that point, it was just too late to restart it. Not even a typhoon. I got to tell you, McLevin, that is my special needs um, typhoon, typhoon plant. I don't know why. You know, we've told people this before. That plant right above the Wong word on the banner below, we've almost killed that poor thing like 3 times over the past 4 years. And I'm sorry, I'm still eating here, but that plant's still alive. Yeah, James says very close. Add to it. Naia is where Brent flew into Naia. Um, Pilots kept saying through the flight that they were beating the storm by minutes. Not sure what happened afterwards. Well, good. So, as long as you had a good flight, that's great. So, what are your plans, Brent? Are you going to be vacationing in Manila, or are you moving on to a different area? What's going to happen? Baby will be here soon. Indeed, it will. And your life is going to change, James. Your life is going to change rapidly. More power to you. Brent says he came in from San Francisco. Way out, wishing James the best on bringing a beautiful baby into this world. Keep bringing in more babies. We just welcomed our second a month ago. Well, congratulations, Way Out. Congratulations. The Ugly Tourist, I hope gets fully charged and ready to go, buddy. Best wishes. So, uh, Ugly Tourist, are you actually going to use the electric scooter to get to the hospital when Ding goes into labor? That ought to be interesting to live stream that. Whoops. There we go. Let's see here. What's going on here? So the eye is still out past the island of Luzon now. And looking at the tracking system, looks like Taiwan's going to be okay. Uh, we'll see what happens. So you guys are going to have to forgive me. I'm eating at the same time. McLovin, well, Dean had the baby last night. You could have called him Typhoon instead of Samurai. There you go. Or maybe we could have just named the baby Feng Wang. There, all right? An international name. James? Bruce wants to know if Arlene's eggs will pass the Philly test. Well, on the one hand, Bruce, I would tell you without a doubt they would. And on the other hand, I would say, you know what? As much as I respect Brian, I wouldn't really give a shit. It's whether they pass my test. I hope Brian's doing well. Sunset says he's missing his home cooked breakfast and jealous. Yeah, that's the next thing I got to figure out is whether I'm going to be at Tequila Reef tomorrow morning doing a live stream. I probably will. My intention at this time and point is, but we kind of have to see what goes on throughout the rest of the day. So our intent is I will live stream our Tuesday morning live stream from Tequila Reef. That's for sure. There you go. Have a nice day. Yeah, lost power for like 2 minutes. Yeah, same thing. I think we lost power for maybe somewhere maybe 5 to 10 minutes. So, Mike, you need a UPS to keep your stuff alive until the generator kicks in. Yeah, we could, but there's just not that big a need, Bruce. I mean, I don't consider the internet going out or my computer turning off or anything like that a big deal. It's not, we're not like other people. We don't live and depend on YouTube. It's entertainment value. It's everything that goes along with it. Power goes out, computers go off. That's great. Go make a soda, grab a snack. I mean, when our power goes out, 15 seconds later, the generators come on. When the generators come on, um, we're back to normal. It's just not that difficult. We don't have that big a deal time. Brent, hey, Mike and Arlen, I'm staying put here in the Bacor area. Did you hear about? No, I didn't hear anything about the road rage. You mean road rage in Bacor? I didn't hear anything about it at all. Shout out to the ugly tourist. Yep, Don Palbret. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know. For so many, we don't mind it. We don't mind people promoting their channels. We don't mind people stopping in. We're just not the jealous type of people. We're not, it's not that we're not competitive. We're competitive with ourselves. But, if people want to do YouTube, more power to them. Why not give other people something to watch? They all bring value to the experience. There you go, have a nice day. I was surprised yesterday of how many bars were staying open last night. Yeah. Um, you know, Filipinos are very resilient individuals. Okay? Um, what we went through yesterday here is simply nothing compared to what they go through in a lifetime. Um, Arlene was making a comment last night when the wind started really kicking up. She said, yeah, if she was in the province, she'd be outside. And I said, why would you be outside at, 11 o'clock at night? She goes, for coconuts. When the wind really kicks up with weather, as a kid, they all went outside. They went looking for coconuts. The wind blowing hard caused the coconuts to fall, and they would go grab them. So it's just not that unusual of an experience. Bruce says a computer crashing from power failure can cause damage or file damage. Neither is something you want. Not to mention a live stream dropping out or a file upload that does not get sent. Yeah, it's an inconvenience, and there is some risk involved. You're absolutely correct there, Bruce. Absolutely correct. But at the same time, it's something that we deal with. I mean, we had major UPSs in my business. I mean, just to give you an idea, the um, I had these medical clinics. These medical clinics had a lot of diagnostic equipment, CT scanners, right? Your warranty was void if you didn't have a certified specific power UPS, one that not only maintained it but allowed for a clean turn off and clean power. Um, and I think we used to pay the for Toshiba for the that we had a choice of about four different kinds of power conditioner UPSs, and they were about 80,000 a piece. And for General Electric, we had two choices, and they were about 100 grand, one time expense. But if you didn't have one, your warranty was gone. There you go. For sure, resilient. I have a friend that just packed some food and clothes and went to school, shelter, because her house was right on a river creek. Home safe this morning. Yeah, exactly. Um, During Tino last week, we had a ton of evacuations down in Mindanao um, from the river area near our house. They went down there, evacuated them, picked them up, took them up to the local school, and that's where they stayed for a couple of days. They're all back home by now. Let's take a look and see. So, still cranking out there. Now, I was surprised. I'm not going to lie. I was surprised at how inaccurate the path of the typhoon prediction models were. Um, Not but I mean their cone of responsibility or possibility was all there, but certainly there was a good bit of stuff that was just not there. So, uh, so Phil, are you going to be at breakfast tomorrow morning, weather permitting? James Gilbert, I seen videos of Aurora where typhoon came ashore. There were idiots riding their scooters in the storm. Yeah, it's just another day for some people. It really is. Oftentimes oftentimes we think about what we do and we measure the safety of what we do, not just for ourselves, but for our families. What would happen to me if, what would happen to Arlen if something happened to me? You know, I should be careful about this, or I should be careful about that. You know, um, just like James the Ugly Tourist, he has a wife and now a child on the way. I'm sure every day he thinks, hey, before I make this decision, before I choose this, what kind of impact is that going to have on my wife and child? Filipinos, they seem to not be quite as concerned. That's probably a terrible thing to say, but there you go. Yeah, that's my plan. Okay. Well, my plan is to be there at Tequila Reef tomorrow morning, weather permitting. And I think we'll do all right weather-wise. I hope we do. That's for sure. Oh man, that was a yummy breakfast. What a way to start my day, huh? What a way to start my day. I mean, you get up, I've got my coffee, Arlen made breakfast, I'm looking outside, a little bit of sunshine peeking out behind the clouds once in a while. Everything's intact, nothing's on fire, none of the buildings are being washed away. Life goes on. It really and truly does. And nothing that we can do is going to make any change. Tim Deziak, good morning, Mike. Good morning, Tim. How are things? There you go. Have a nice day. I'll message you about 7:45 tomorrow morning to verify. No problem. No problem. That's about the time that I either arrive or am on the way to Tequila Reef, because when we do the live streams, it takes um, um, about 20 minutes for me to set everything up there. It's not a real quickie thing, so um, it'll be. But yeah, just you'll hear from me. And if I decide I'm not going, Phil, I'll send you a message um, as early as I figure out I'm not going. How's that? So that also is pretty considerate of me, I think. The Ugly Tourist, I'm glad you're back. I missed you. I don't know who's back. Huh. Ah. Now, let's see here. I'm going to mute this for just a second because I don't think you want to hear me blow my nose. So, hang on just a second. There we go. Took care of that. So, now what's going on here? Wind is still blowing a little bit. According to Windy, the wind is around 42 kilometers per hour, but it sure doesn't feel that way. I would say, from when I was, I did a bit of sailing in my time, and I would say the wind's probably blowing about 8 to 11, somewhere around in there. Um, but I know that these are all generalizations and different places and things like that. You went to Thailand. Yeah, we had a great time in Thailand. Thank you very much, James. Yeah, we had a good time. We shopped like fools. We ate like idiots. We stayed at the Hilton Pattaya right on Beach Road. It was a wonderful, wonderful birthday anniversary celebration with friends. So um, it was a lot of fun. We really and truly had a great time. While I enjoy the experience, I do still hate the flight. I think I'm getting old. I'm getting tired of flying, and those are not optimum times. Um, the Clark flight. Now there used to be two out of Clark to Bangkok daily. Then it was down to one. Now I hear it's back to two, but I don't know for sure. But it essentially is about a 6:45, 6:50 flight out. All right, 7, 8, 9. You get there, 1 hour difference, 10. Yeah. So by the time you get to Bangkok, get your bags, clear immigration, which is such a breeze, um, you know, and then we have a driver that's waiting on us and takes us to wherever we're going, whether it's going to be Pattaya or a different city or whatever. So we actually arrived at the Hilton Pattaya at 11 o'clock their time. So I was great. Coming home, however, the flight is at 9:50 or 10:50. I don't know, something like that. It's night. It's then you don't end up back in Clark until 2 o'clock in the morning, local time, and then in turn, um, uh, we were delayed because um, Hurricane Tino was hitting Vietnam, and we had to fly over that or around or whatever, and then um, everything. So we were delayed an hour getting out of Bangkok. So we didn't get into Bangkok until 3 in the morning. I'm sorry, Clark into 3 in the morning, and then clearing immigration at Clark took all of 5 minutes. Um, get our bags. Driver shows up, and we were literally in our condo with the air cons cranking, unpacking whatever was necessary at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then into bed. And you're saying, well, what'd you unpack? Well, we did have to unpack, and I'll tell you what we had to unpack: chocolate. All right, we found this little pop-up store at Central Mall that had Dubai chocolate. And if you don't know what Dubai chocolate is, um, Google it. Man, I'm telling you, the chocolate itself did not come from Dubai, but I guess the way they make it, or I don't even know how to explain it, but it's good stuff. And my daughter had said, buy me some and put it in the freezer so that it's there when I get here next summer. So now I'm sitting with chocolate in our freezer for the next 5 months, which is okay with me. That doesn't bother me at all. So let's take a look. The eye is still mooling out. Bowling Alley still getting a lot of wind. We have some friends that are. I know a guy that's in Bowling Alley. He got hit pretty hard. I hope he's doing okay. I hope Joe is doing okay. I really do. In fact, there's Brian filling in the Philippines. Brian, have you heard anything out of Joe up in Bowling? Did he survive everything okay? We'll have to kind of figure that out. Look, my plants are barely moving now. Wind's calming down. It's not going to be. I wouldn't be surprised in the next little bit to hear some guy trying to sell Tahoe up and down the street. And I'm sure the Balut guys will be out tonight as well. Bruce, hello, Philly in the Philippines. Do you have any aerial reports from the Goodyear blimp? No, I don't believe they were able to get the blimp up and running from the U.S. But who knows? I don't really watch a lot of other people, and I especially don't watch channels that have banned me. So there are several live streams that I just don't watch. The pettiness involved in that is beyond the level of maturity. Philly, Joe messaged me. He said everything is good. Good. That's good to hear. I haven't seen Joe. I don't know when the last time he's been in town. And the Viagra guys are out. Yeah. You know what, Bruce? You're right. I'll guarantee you last night on Walking Street, there were guys selling Viagra and Cialis. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. In the middle of a typhoon, all right, it's there. So, I got a big kick out of, I just keep my mouth shut. I will keep my mouth shut. So, the next big thing, I have all of this video and photos from Thailand. I spent a couple hours the other day organizing all of it, and I have gotten only about 25% of it organized to start making videos. And I still haven't gotten the videos and photos from Arlene's phone. So it is. Joe's still back in the States. Oh, I didn't realize he went to the States. I didn't realize he went back. Well, I hope his place did okay. There you go. Have a nice day. They were selling at 4:30 when I walked home yesterday. Yeah, I am sure. Heaven forbid Angeles City not have Viagra available. Heaven forbid. It would be such a travesty. You would have so many heartbroken men. And I'm not talking about just Americans. I mean, the Koreans, the Indians, the Americans, the British, they all buy it. It would just be devastating for them. Wouldn't that be horrible? Absolutely horrible. Oh, man. Michael Ataz. Good news, Mike. I have not banned you from my channel. About Viagra issues, just slam it in the car door, guaranteed to swell up. Yeah, Mike, I think I think that if I was going to have that kind of problem, if that was going to be an issue that I needed addressed, I would look for a less violent way of addressing that issue, if that makes sense. That's just me, okay? It could be something else, that's for sure. There's no doubt about it. But, I'm just glad that everybody seems to be okay in our general sphere of, of knowledge and people. The only person we haven't heard from in our sphere of influence, I guess the best word for it, is Arlene's sister. We feel certain she's okay and everything, but I think that they're having, they live in the province way north of Angeles, about 2 hours north. So we're waiting to hear back from her. But other than that, everybody else seems to be doing okay. And again, I stress, we didn't see much of anything where we are. If you consider 25, 35 mile an hour winds to be big winds, then you may need to expand your historical experiences with storms. Okay? We've had far more wind this summer in storms that have passed through. We've had far more rain, far more flooding, far more power outages. And this was, to say honestly, not that big a deal. Now, I expect that there will be power outages today. And the reason that I suspect there'll be power outages today is simple. Because the grid is so poor here, all right? The national grid, electrical grid, which actually it was, if first off, to use the term the national grid, the national electric grid, is an absolute misnomer. There is no grid that covers all three ions. In other words, you can't take electricity easily from Luzon, produced in Luzon, and move it to Mindanao. Can't be done because the electrical infrastructure is terrible. I'm going to do a live stream on that. To be honest, not a live stream. I'm going to do a video on that because I've heard so many excuses as to why electricity is expensive in the Philippines, and they're wrong. I can't believe so many people don't understand it. But I'm going to do one just to say. Michael, just saw photos from Dipolog, the boulevard, the palm trees are gone. Dipolog is down in Mindanao. Michael, is that left over from Tino? Because I don't think that this would have done a lot of damage there. But I don't know. There you go, Phil. Philly, did you get any rain and wind there? I don't know. That's a good question, Brian. Did you guys have any effect from Fangwang, Ewon, whatever name you want to call it? Did you guys actually feel any kind of weather from that? Tim says, I didn't have a brownout yesterday. 4 of my friends had brownouts. Yeah, we didn't have any power issues all day. It wasn't until about 2 o'clock this morning that it flipped off and then back on like 5 minutes later. That was it. And I expect we'll have problems today. I expect that in their esteemed engineering capabilities, they're going to end up screwing around and having to shut down sections of the grid in order to make repairs. And when they do that, rather than rerouting, because there ain't no way to reroute it, all right, we'll lose some power. But we've got generators, so I'm not real concerned about it, to be honest with you. I really and truly am not. Um, I take a look at a lot of different things here. Let's see, what is the latest update? So it's still showing 43 km/h winds here, and I would say it's probably blowing 12 to 15 right now. It's certainly blowing a little bit. You can see our plants; they're getting plenty. So I would say 12 to 15. So that makes probably about, starts to make sense. Um, I'm measuring. I'm seeing wind speeds, still some wind speeds over 100 kilometers per hour in the northwestern quadrant of the eye. So it's still picking up. Now that it's over open water, it's going to be picking up more strength. That's for sure. So we're just kind of watching that. It's not raining. It hasn't rained since I started looking out the window at 7:30 this morning. So it's 10 o'clock now. It hasn't rained since I started looking out the window. Um, you know, and now I will say it's a little cloudier now than it was this morning. Um, I this morning we could see a little bit of blue here and there peeking out through the clouds. Now it's a solid gray and then some intermittent, thicker, fluffier black clouds. Um, so Michael Edges is not sure. My wife showed me. Okay, yeah, I think that's from Tino. I don't think this particular um, storm had much impact in southern Mindanao. I don't think. I know that we didn't experience much in Kitcherow. Our house down in Mindanao, in the city of Kitcherow, didn't have any effects from this. So I doubt that came. Diblog's further south than our home, than our house is. So I don't think it. Now, Brian up on Sugar Island, um, he may have felt something weather-wise, but not us. So just trying to look and see what's going on. Otherwise, let me flip this thing. How's that looking? Oh, I have to readjust. So I had the sliding glass doors open this morning as I was resetting the um, exterior camera, and the wind came and knocked my green screen over twice. So it's going to have to be readjusted, but you can deal with it. That's not a big deal. It's really breezy out there right now. Wow, that's impressive. And so Wendy.com, big credit to them. I tried to figure out, you know what I couldn't figure out? So as far as I know, this live stream is monetized. All right. It can receive chats, super chats, stickers, things like that. All right. Last night, when I set this live stream, YouTube said monetization unavailable for this content, which doesn't bother me. I mean, okay, big deal. No, no big deal. Nobody really, we get very few uh, super chats and stickers and stuff like that. That's not our objective. But I just thought that was weird where it wouldn't. But this morning, when I set this live stream up, it is monetized, or it didn't give me a problem. I'm assuming it's monetized. I'm assuming that the little dollar sign shows up. You guys could hit it if you so desired. I can't understand. So if anybody knows why last night would not have been monetized with almost the same exact wording as today, I'd be interested. I'd be interested to know. There's so much about YouTube that just they won't answer your questions. Getting a reply from YouTube or Google or anybody about anything personally, it's almost impossible. All right. Content creators are quite literally at the mercy of their individual discretions, which is a pain in the ass. There you maybe Feng Wang confused YouTube. It's possible. It is possible, Michael, Phil. I didn't think about it, but I guess that's possible. It makes sense that could have possibly been one of the issues. So we'll have to kind of rule at it. Okay. Well, it's been an hour. You guys have seen what's going on. All right. It's business as usual. We're going to call it quits. We're going to start to pick up and clean up and take care of the things that need to be taken care of. And life goes on. So thank you so much for dropping by. Please, if you're watching this in the replay, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, notify, whatever. All right. We certainly appreciate it. Otherwise, everybody, please do have a safe, happy, and great day. And we hope that any of you that have family out here, that they're all doing well. Take care. Bye.